If you want to grow your brand using social media, here's the content strategy that allowed me to grow a startup's TikTok to 3.5 thousand followers in less than a week. So for you critics out there, here are the screenshots, less than a week, 3.5 thousand followers, and we eventually grew it to 34,000 followers. So let's get started with the high-level strategy. So yeah, 3 broad categories in regards to how we did it. So in terms of the high-level strategy, first we had to choose the right platform. Now, why TikTok? Here's the model I like to think about when it comes to choosing the platform. Say we're a spider and we lay webs. We lay the webs where our dream customers are found. So whether they are found on TikTok or YouTube or long form, short form, that's where we lay our webs. And webs are pieces of content that allow customers to find us, which allows them to find out more about us if that piece of content helped them, and they go down further into the funnel until we make a sale. So if we position ourselves where our target avatar would be, then that'd be good for the customer and good for us. Now, short form is good for B2C, whereas long form, in my opinion, is better for B2B or B2C. So short form was great because the startup is a blog that helps people with personal finance. So if we could help the average person with our content on platforms they would normally be scrolling on, like TikTok, they naturally want to find out more about us and then go down into our funnel. And I believe we monetize with affiliate links. So a bit of context as to how I got this job. So I was already making content on my own personal brand. And then one day I made a video about how I learned stuff from this blog, and then the founder reached out and we eventually decided to work together. Which brings me to point number 2. There already was a thirsty market for personal finance content in New Zealand on TikTok. How did I know this? Because I was already doing that on my own personal TikTok. So I already had proof of concept. My videos were doing pretty decent, and then I knew the market would be thirsty for personal finance content, which made the pitch to the founder not too difficult. So if there's a thirsty market for whatever niche you want to make content about, then yeah, go for it, right? Number 3, TikTok was a platform that allowed us to garner attention very quickly. So at the time, TikTok was day trading attention. So attention could go up, attention could go down very quickly. So you could get a lot of followers really quickly. 3.5 thousand followers in less than a week, right? So by leveraging this and using it to our advantage, day trading attention, we could garner attention very quickly. Now, second point in regards to high-level strategy, we were the only personal finance brand on TikTok in New Zealand. So here's the model that I like to think about. Whenever we make content, we should try to be the first, the best, or different. And here's how I think about each of these categories. So if there is an existing market, then I have to try to be the best or be different. And the 2 ways to be different is to combine 2 different industries together. An example is The Life of Reza, where she combines the struggles we endure in our 20s with beautiful cinematography. Or we can target a smaller subset of the market. So if we go down all the niches and all the sub-niches, if we focus on something very, very niche, then we become different. So I'd argue that we were different because personal finance content was plentiful already. It's just that no one was focusing on personal finance content for the average person in New Zealand as a brand. So we were different. Now, first is just being the first person to make content about that topic. Usually it's an obscure niche because most niches are kind of full on most platforms, and it's more risky because there's no proof of concept. So if you want a more detailed look at this diagram, I had a video on my channel, so feel free to check that out. So since we were the only personal finance brand on TikTok in New Zealand, we had an advantage. And also TikTok is very location specific. 95% of our viewers were from New Zealand. So yeah. And also, cool story. We posted once a day for a period of time, and on average our videos get 20,000 views. And since 95% of our viewers were from New Zealand, every day 3.7% of the entire population would watch our video. Isn't that crazy? 3.7% of the entire New Zealand population would watch our video, assuming unique viewers and assuming analytics were correct. But even if they weren't, isn't that just crazy? All right, let's move on. I find it bewildering. All right, in terms of high-level strategy, point number 3, we leverage pre-existing credibility. So I was already the voice of the TikTok, right? I was the voice of the startups TikTok. Not already the voice. I was the voice of the startups TikTok, but I was already posting content on my own personal TikTok, and I already built credibility within the personal finance space in New Zealand. So when people heard the voice on the startups TikTok, people knew the voice, they recognized it. They then felt that the startup was credible because it was me. I already built trust amongst an audience. And although I didn't show my face on the startups TikTok, people recognized the voice. And if you're a brand, maybe consider leveraging people who have already established credibility. So whether you let them be the face or ask them to create a few videos for your brand in exchange for money, of course, then that is a way that you can leverage pre-existing credibility. So these are the 3 high-level strategies: choosing the right platform, being the first, the best, or the only, and leveraging pre-existing credibility. Now, unfair advantages we were very early to the platform. I understand this is hard to replicate now in terms of TikTok, but when you're early to a platform, you have an advantage because you're going to be one of the firsts. And also, we had a pre-established brand, right? A lot of people were going to our website. A lot of people knew about us already. So I'm not sure if the founder did, but he could have easily utilized cross-platform marketing. So in an email newsletter, say, we could have marketed the TikTok to help grow the TikTok. And also there is that benefit of going deep into one platform first. So the blog, the website, going deep first, and then going wide later. So wide as in going to other platforms like TikTok, after already building a established brand on one platform. So going deep, then going wide. So those are the 2 unfair advantages we had. Lastly, TikTok strategy. We made videos about hot topics. So at the time, personal finance was a hot topic. So that's on the macro level. In terms of the micro levels, I decided to make content about side hustles because that was a hot topic for videos. So that helped. Number 2, we did series. So as you can see here, part 1, part 2, part 3, and always a thumbnail for the video so people can click on it and know the next part. And at the end of each video for the series videos, I always said follow for part 2, which gives them a reason to follow. It helps them take action, which is in alignment with their self-interest, because that's something you can always trust people to do. So follow for part 2, people followed. In part 2, follow for part 3. And on YouTube, the equivalent of this is utilizing playlists. You could also do part 1, part 2 videos, but I think playlists are more natural. So that's what I've been utilizing on YouTube. Number 3, we did a welcome video. So instead of pinning your most viewed video at the top, the alternative is what I recommend, is pinning videos that introduce yourself or reference videos that you want people to watch to understand the rest of your content. So in a introductory video, what I usually do is I introduce myself or introduce the brand. Hey, we're Money Hub. If you want to learn more about personal finance, whatever, something like that. That's what I do as the opening statement. Then usually I share credentials or sub-communicate credentials. So I've done this intro video thing for many brands now. So credentials could be something like, if you've investigated personal finance content, you would have come across our brand, Money Hub. Or if you're a fighter, if you want to learn how to box, I'm your guy because I've had 20 fights and I've won all of them. Or whatever credentials you have. I'm a doctor, I'm a whatever, right? You can figure that out. And at the end, a call to action. And for this one, it was follow to learn more. So those are generally the 3 things I have in an intro video. I pin it to the top. Eventually, it got 63,000 views. And in terms of the video itself, let's go back. So in terms of the welcome video, the equivalent of that on YouTube is the channel homepage video. All right. The video itself, ultimately, the videos I posted, I tried to make it native to the platform. So in terms of the hook, I made a clear promise with keywords such as New Zealand. I tried to make it look native. So I used paper cutouts. And it wasn't too high production quality because a lot of you businesses out there trying to make content on platforms like TikTok are way too businessy. It just looks like an ad. It's as though you got a TV ad and put it on TikTok. And that's not necessarily the best play, I think. So if you make it look native, it doesn't look like an ad and it's more natural. And also we did paper cutouts with words on them, and titles in general I found help because people can often read faster than listen, and people want to know what the video is going to be about very quickly. Next thing, number 2, we did frequent shot changes because attention span on short form platforms like TikTok aren't high, so we did frequent shot changes. And lastly, a call to action at the end, follow for part 2. Now let's just watch one of the videos we posted that got 118,000 views. So let's start. Notice the paper cutouts and notice it isn't high production quality.
6 side hustle ideas for New Zealanders, part 1.
Notice New Zealanders, that's a key word, so New Zealanders would feel as though I'm speaking directly to them.
But before we start, just note that there's a lot of snake oil out there, and you often have to
Notice the changes in shots every 2 to 3 seconds.
pay an upfront fee. We are only including genuine side hustles with a proven track record of regular income. Number 1, rent a space.
So shot changes going from B-roll to paper cutouts, and then we scrub through. It's the same thing until the end where the call to action is
To invest in it. Follow for part 2.
follow for part 2. All right, so there you go. Now, if you want this spreadsheet flowchart thing, it'll be available in the description for free. And if you want to learn more about content strategy, I've got a playlist here that you can check out. See, utilizing the playlist series technique. But my name is Junius. I help people make and strategize educational content. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.